It's our last day at Cowell, so we thought we'd get out for one last fish before we head off. Our sweet chili crab we had last night was perfect. Well, we really want to thank all the people in this trip that came up to say good day to us. Like, hey, we watch your video, love to see your videos, great to meet you. That's a real buzz for us.
Oh, he's a nice one too. Are they yellow? Is that a yellowfin as well?
Yeah, that's a yellowfin.
It's not a King George, it's a yellowfin.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Like the ones we get in Queensland.
Oh wow.
But that's a nice whiting, that.
Nice fat one. They're fat, aren't they?
They are very fat, yeah. They'd be pushing 30, 31.
Awesome.
We were getting the odd fish, but it was a little bit slow, so we decided to change spots. We always look for the nice sandy areas in amongst the weed, but this time it looks like some of the locals beat us to it.
They're coming under the boat. Look at them. Aren't they beautiful? How cute, how cool is that?
Oh look, there's
half a dozen of them, yeah.
Oh, there's 4 there and 3 in that lot.
Yeah. He's coming for a play, I bet. Yeah. Oh. They're coming. Oh, he's still here. Hey buddy. Off we go, there we go. Oh, I love that. That's so bloody awesome.
Well, it's time to put the boat on the trailer. We're going to drop it off at the caravan park and go for a bit of a look around. We've been told about, well, it's not a free camp, but it's a low-cost camp, not too far from here. There's still so many beautiful stone buildings in Cowell. They really are a picture. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button or send us a comment. We always try and reply to comments, and it's really great when we get them. This is a fantastic low-cost camp. It was all put together by the local Lions Club, and there's even water available here, and so we found out you can even launch a boat not too far from here. So if you bring a boat with you, no problem at all. The only stipulation with this low-cost camp of somewhere around $10 a night is that you have to be self-contained. So with a lot of vans these days, that's not a big ask. Well, it's time to check out the boat launching facilities. See how easy this is going to be for, maybe for another trip down the track. Yeah, well, definitely easier to use the boat ramp in town, even though you do have to pay for it. Most of the boat ramps in South Australia we've come across, you do have to pay to use them. even though you pay boat registration and trailer registration.
What's the leases out there?
Well, it's still not a bad little camp spot. You could launch a boat, it'd just be not quite as easy as using a standard boat ramp, but it can be done. And it'd be a great little camp spot, especially in winter time if you could bring a bit of firewood and have a little fire. This is a crab cooking area down here at Cowell. Yep, nice big cleaning tables, brilliant crab cookers, and a big freezer for all the waste to go in. But it is really set up well, isn't it?
Oh, big chopping blocks.
It's set up really well for the fishermen here.
Hoses.
Yeah, big boat wash out there. But what more do you want? And there's a sneaky little road here that goes across straight from the caravan park to the boat ramp. Not really the best day for filming around the caravan park, but yeah, they got nice big areas, big outdoor areas where people can congregate. Here we are right down the end. This was our preferred pick of the sites. That way we don't have to worry about people walking through or anything like that. It's just it's nice being down the end. We're at the worst part of any holiday, packing up. So we just put the boat on the roof. It started drizzling rain, it's cold and windy. But, you know, we've had an absolute cracker of a time down here. And this spot of Cowell, it's brilliant. I would definitely be back, well, we will be back. So, we're pretty much packed up. We just got to do the annex in the morning, and we're off. The back of the ute, she's loaded well. Everything's in here. But we're going to slip down to the pub, the local pub, have a couple of beers, and then come back and cook some tea. We're just walking down to the pub. We're going to go and have a couple of cold beers and maybe buy a bottle of rum because it's miserable weather. But just get a load of the brickwork. This old pub, like how old is it? You know, it's all done with rocks. Well, a few bricks around there too, but that is brilliant. Talk about character. This place would have been something in its day, but it's still bloody nice now. Don't see doors like that too much. For a doorway. That's an entrance, isn't it? I love these old pubs. So much history, so much character. Just look at the timber work here in this stairway. It's just incredible. Like, you don't get that anymore. Jesus, that's nice, that is. Alright, so we have had a beer at the other pub, which was quite nice. We wanted to get a bottle of rum to go home with. So we couldn't get one down there. We had to come up here to this pub. So Yeah, the pubs are wouldn't even be 150 metres apart.
That probably would have been another one back in the day.
Yeah, this might have been another pub here back in the day, exactly. I love these old stone buildings though. They've just got so much character. Time to head for home. We're just coming past Whyalla, where the steelworks are, where they used to build the ships. We've promised ourselves we're going to get stuck into the work this year, get as much as we can, get our new car, set it all up, and do some huge trips next year. Hopefully one up to Arnhem Land and another one to Columbaroo. Look at them. Like how much of curve they've got on the blades. I always thought the blades were reasonably flat, but they've got a real curve.
South Australia is very different.
Yeah, it's very underrated, I think.
I still can't get over the mountains down here. They're just so barren.
Hello, this is what you got to do on the side of the road sometimes. There's a bit of traffic. The dual battery system in the back of the ute wasn't working. It would charge on solar, but it wouldn't charge off the dual battery system that should be putting a charge into that battery. So, I'll wait for the car. There's two fuses in the top of these boxes, one on each of these Anderson plugs, these inputs, and one of the fuses had blown. So it wasn't putting a charge in. So my beer would have got hot, which is not good. So we've had to pull everything out, find out what the problem was. Anyway, we've sorted it out, just got to put it all back together, pack it up and keep going. Okay, start her up again and give it a little rev. There we go, charging it back up again. Absolutely lovely. Perfect. Job well done. Now we've just got to put all the stuff back in. Alright, then we'll keep going on our way. Perfect.
Excellent.
So there's the quarantine station coming in. But there's no checking going from South Australia back to New South Wales. This is the quarantine checking station. Boodlawira. We're still, I don't know, probably close on 200 k's from the border. Chris was doing a bit of research and found a little point of interest for us to look at on the way home.
We just turned off at a little place called Yunta.
So we're going to go and have a look at this old abandoned gold mine.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how wet the road is and what the conditions are like.
Yeah. We'll just see what the roads are like.
Must have had a little bit of rain here recently, but this is all dry.
Oh, it would have been pretty wet though.
Yeah, it looks like it was wet. As we were going along here, we thought this would be a great place to test out the new drone. Now we've used it only a half a dozen times, so it scares me a little bit after losing the last one. We're pretty careful and cautious how we use it, but this one's got some excellent features, but I still haven't quite worked all the ins and outs yet. At this stage we'd swapped seats. Chris was driving and I was controlling the drone manually, because for the life of me I could not work out how to do the auto follow, but I need more practice. We're just coming up to the old hotel ruins. Apparently this place shut down in about 1950.
It's always the chimney parts that are left, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be the most
Reinforced. Sort of.
with all the... Yeah. Wow.
Must be in the cellar.
Must have been.
Oh, fireplace.
It's always the strongest part.
Little bullheads everywhere.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's a pity people use it as a dump.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? People do that. I wonder if there was like an underground story here.
Oh, maybe.
Because it's,
I'd say they would have had to have been.
yeah, because there's doorways and everything. There's proper doorways there, so...
Yeah, it must have been.
I still love the way they get these walls so straight.
Yeah, they do.
They do, don't they? Yeah, another fireplace in here. There would have been plenty of fireplaces.
One in each room, I suppose.
Yeah, that's unreal straight, that is. Like when you're considering a building with rocks. What this was here, I had a guess that it might have been a water tank, because they don't have a lot of water out here, but that's definitely what it is. Don't know how deep it'll be, but yeah,
Wow.
they'd have to keep the roof on it to stop the evaporation, I suppose. So that's yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it?
For washing down.
Well, I don't know whether it was a supply for the mine or what, but that's quite a big underground storage.
Yeah.
And they got fences all around it, so it's probably to keep all the skippies out, keep any stock away from it.
Well, if anything fell in there.
Well, normally it'd have the roof all on it, so we'll follow this track up and see if it takes us up to the chimney and see if that's the workings of the mine up there. Not a bad view, look at all that out there. rocks. You can see the writing on it.
Oh.
Whether there was a small chimney here, something like what's up there.
Probably.
Mine shaft.
Oh.
Yeah, you might stay back there and I'll lean over and do this. Hang on, I can stretch this out a bit. Oh, mine shaft there. I can't see anything solid down there. All I can see is a big hole.
Oh, it goes right down.
It does, doesn't it?
Wow. Branches off here and goes down here too.
Yeah, you sort of wonder why would they need a tunnel going up to the chimney. These rocks look like they're a bit water worn, like they've had a flow of water going over them. Right up there. Whether they've been used in the process or what, that's a bit hard to say. And these must be settling ponds of some sort, because there's, you know, quite a few of them there. Another bigger one over here. Well, if anybody knows much about gold, well, I'm not one of those people, but I do know that there's some tie-in with a lot of quartz, and there seems to be quite a bit of that around here. So whether it was dug out of the mine, I'm heading up to this mullock heap up here. So whether this is what they dig out, or if this is overburden or what, I don't know. You can actually see quite a bit of quartz there in amongst the rock. Now hopefully we'll do a trip out doing a bit of gold detecting later in the year. Something we're very much amateurs at. Alright, well this is the top side of that mullock heap. And I could hear funny noises down there. It's the pigeons. And I'm not going any closer to the edge, but I will stick the camera out. I'll have a look at this when I'm doing the editing. That's a long way down. And there's another one around the side of the hill there. It gives us a good view of the place. Chris is going to come down. I'll show her this hole here. Little Skippy the kangaroo. A couple of little fellas. There's a whole heap of material here. Yeah, and then there's a mine shaft in here. How cool is that? Right, that goes just straight down nearly. You'd have trouble walking up and down that. Yeah, there's a couple of them floating around. Geez, you'd have a hard time walking up and down there though, how steep it is, hey?
Holy moly. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, they've been digging in here too.
Wow. That's a bit scary.
Yeah. Because that's not just a few feet deep, that just goes down and down and down.
And around the corner and down further.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't want to go too far in here because...
No, don't be sleep.
Oh, look, that just goes... Oh, who knows how far that goes.
Oh, wow, right down under there.
Yeah,
Holy mackerel.
look at that. You can just keep on going. Geez, I must have been keen. Hey. This must have been the lunchroom. Huh? Looks like it's got a couple of old Cowell fridges out the side here. I'd nearly reckon that's what they are. Cowell fridges. Yep. After an incredibly peaceful sleep that night, we headed back to the Barrier Highway to head on our way home. So we're coming into Wilcannia. It's not a real big town, Wilcannia. It's got some nice buildings though. Tell you what we will do, the next time we stop and put fuel in, we might have to clean that windscreen because geez, we're getting some bugs on it.
Yeah, we are.
One thing that really amazes us through this whole area is the amount of feral goats out here. Just, they're bred up out of control. I'd only just mentioned to Chris that it's very unusual to ever see a goat that's been struck by a vehicle. You see sheep, you see kangaroos, but very rarely ever a goat. But I probably spoke a little bit too soon. Well, a bit of a look, but I don't think we did any damage. I was only spruiking earlier on that how smart these goats are, that you never seem to see them hit on the side of the road, and today we hit one. But only just clipped him. You can see all the hair on here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just clipped him with the stone guard and flicked him to one side, it rolled him. And that next minute I looked in the mirror and he jumped up and yeah, ran away off the side of the road.
So he only just got a tumble and
yeah,
he's off.
It'd give him a bit of a lesson on road rules.
Oh well, we better put some fuel in.
Yeah, well, we got one 20 litre jerry can to put in. Broken Hill to Cobar is just a little bit too far for this car with a silly little fuel tank. I think we only get just under 400 or around the 400 k's out of a tank of fuel when we're towing, and it's about 450 odd, so we just filled one jerry can. Saves us having to fill up at Wilcannia, where they're about 35 cents a litre dearer than either side. About due for a couple of new jerry cans. They're getting a bit old. Still no cracks in them yet.
Oh, it looks so faded, that one. It must be getting a bit brittle, eh?
Yeah, it sort of worries me a bit. I think this year when we do a revamp on the van, we'll put some new ones on. Get all our new stickers put on the van.
Yeah, we'll give it a bit of a jazz up.
Yeah.
The stickers are all sort of peeling off a bit now, so.
Well, that's the worst thing. I mean, they build a brilliant van, but they put the crappiest stickers on there and the pinstriping. Must be the cheapest stuff they can get. Everything else is brilliant. Righto, jerry cans back on there. Fuel cap back on. We're just about ready to roll again. The last little run into Cobar, and that'll probably do us for tonight.
Coming back through Cobar.
Pull up and grab some fuel.
Yeah. stop again.
Just a little overnight stop. We're about 60 k's out of Burke. Great big flat area. Apparently there can be up to 40 caravans camped in here at times, we were told. But it's nice, it's far enough off the road, you get very little road noise. Well, we're not too far from Moree, and there's quite a bit of water laying around.
A lot of rain. And what are we? How far out of Moree?
We're not that far out of Moree, probably 5 or 10 k's. A little sign up here that'll tell us. Look at this idiot coming up behind.
Oh, you.
Hey?
I can't believe he just roared past.
Yeah. And this is a sign we always love to see. Welcome to Queensland. Alright, how we going, guys? We're just going to break into this video. So that's the last of our journey for a little while. Our next trip down to South Australia will be next year, but we are waiting on our new tow vehicle, the new Ranger, and we're getting the chassis stretched, GCM upgrade, Cobar, long range tank, all the bits and pieces for it. So we'll do videos of that as we're going, like the build up of the car and the custom built canopy and all that sort of stuff. But we are also doing a lot of upgrades this year. One of them is wheels and tyres on the caravan. We're actually changing them to be the same stud pattern as the new Ranger. There's a lot of mucking around too with that. We've got to change all hubs, but that sort of comes under the maintenance side of it. When I do all the bearings and everything, I'll change the hubs, so that'll be all good. And once we get everything set up this year with the car and the van and everything, we're definitely going to have to do a shakedown trip, hopefully up to the Territory, maybe King Ash Bay. And there's a lot of other little bits and pieces, little upgrades, new little things coming on with us. So we're going to show you a few of those as we come along. Alright, so this is one of the little special things we're going to test this year. It's a Blue Eddy EP4, I think it is. It's a little portable power pack, and it's got an inbuilt 600 watt pure sine wave inverter. So for us, this thing is going to be incredible. It's going to be great for doing our video editing, because our little inverter that we have here really struggles with my computer, and I'll be interested to see, and we're going to do the review on this thing. So keep an eye out in the videos, we'll do a review on it. Be interested to see how it goes, powering up the computer and just what this thing can actually do. It does seem pretty impressive. A great little display and everything on it. But anyway, I'm going to do a proper full-on review on it. There's not many things that live up to the hype that we've been led to believe. I'm hoping this will. A bit like the Ausglide hitch. Like, that thing is just incredible. Now, we did one big day on our trip down to South Australia. We did 1,100 kilometres in one day. There is no way I could have towed a van for that sort of distance without that Ausglide hitch. It just takes out all the shock. Check them out, they are really good, an Australian company, and we've got a little surprise from them too. So that'll probably be in next couple of videos, so keep an eye out for it. Alright, next year is going to be a big year for travelling. We are going to do a big trip down South Australia, but we're going to go down through New South Wales and the bottom end of Victoria. Probably do the Great Ocean Road. I'd like to do that again. That was a beautiful trip. Come across to our favourite places, Smoky Bay, Streaky Bay, all around that area eventually. And then we're going to go up through Cobar. We'll go up to Cobar and probably do another run up to King Ash or Lemon Bight, somewhere around there, around here. And then go home. We'll be home for a couple of months, and then we're going to do an absolute crack of a trip. That couple of months will allow us to make any adjustments or any different things that we want to do. But our next trip will be right up into Arnhem Land, which I can't wait to do. I've been wanting to get up there for years, and hopefully across to Cobar. The scenery up there is just, it just blows your mind. It's unreal. So I can't wait to bring you that next year. Alright, so we're back in Toowoomba Showgrounds. We just pulled up, catching up with family. We'll spend 2 nights here, and then tomorrow morning we are heading home. And looking forward to mowing the grass because it's going to be about 6 foot tall.